Uh-oh.
Such good shit!
Hey, it's Mark Rodriguez here, and you're watching America's number one cure for insomnia, the Diving Cutter Wrestling Podcast, and with me are...
Jupi Chan, also known as Wendy or Niche Jupi. Now I have to turn this over to the one, the only, the man of the hour, the man with the power, Johnny Rodriguez.
Yep. And today we're talking about Ring of Honor, the last battle. This is going to be kind of a lightning round because it was on a Friday, so no time for predictions, and they were really announcing the matches super duper last minute, so we couldn't predict them all. And another thing that's kind of surprising is that this pay-per-view was actually kind of sort of free. If you're already pre-subscribed to the Ring of Honor app, it's just there, and I was surprised. It's the very first time they did this. Other Ring of Honor ones, even though technically speaking, in my opinion, that's what they always should have done, but in other Ring of Honor pay-per-views, you just had to go pay them, in the Bleacher Report or whatever. But this time, no. This time it was exclusively on the app, and I was confused as I kept checking over and over because you guys know the Bleacher Report, when you check, sometimes you can't buy the pay-per-view until maybe a day or so before. So I kept checking, and I'm like, okay, so are we not gonna buy this or something? But no, it was just free. It was like a $10 pay-per-view because the Ring of Honor Honor Club is $10 a month. So yeah, if you're already subscribed, here you go. So that was very surprising to say the least. And yeah, what can I say? The matches, I mean, they were there, there were a couple of interesting ones, but yeah, I'm thinking maybe that's why they did that, because they didn't have the confidence people actually spend the 30 or $40 on these particular matches. The only match we cared about really was the whole thing with Athena and Billy Starks, because that has been building up, little by little, with how Athena slowly made her minion, and then we saw little cracks of Billy starting to act more and more like Athena, and then Billy finally had enough of her shit and turned on Athena and all that, so that was building up, but everything else was just kind of there. So yeah, without predictions and without Jack Knives and without Ninja Panda here, this is going to be kind of a lightning round, and we'll see the best you can all remember whenever we're all ready here. So to start things off, these dark matches are literally announced super duper last minute, or even during the show itself, because wow, okay. So the first match we had here was Taya Valkyrie with Johnny TV there, going up against Jasmine Allure. And yeah, decent match. Not too much I can say about it. Just that, of course, it's cool to see Taya Valkyrie again. It's cool to see her rocking and rolling. She's been in Ring of Honor here and there, and she's also been seen on oh, I forgot what that wrestling program is called. It's the one where Kylan King was on for a good while before she became part of Impact. Oh, geez. I already forgot. Oh, NWA. Yeah, there you go. He's been in NWA for a good while and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know if you guys had any thoughts on that particular match or anything.
I'm trying so hard to remember it. I remember it, but also I was having trouble with the broadcast for a little bit, so I didn't get to see much of that one.
Mm-hmm. Johnny?
See, I didn't really, I even forgot about this match, to be honest. I didn't really remember it.
Yeah, this was going to be a bit of a lightning round because I don't think we have much to say about at least the first half of the show.
I wasn't really paying too much attention with the, what they call the buy-in matches or whatever. I was more, I guess, focused on when the actual pay-per-view starts,
Mm. So I think we can kind of go through these really quick. We do have the Von Erichs, Ross Von Erich and Marshall Von Erich coming back. It looks like they've been gone for a while, so there was a big hoopla, and now they're back in action. They're going up against the Outrunners, which are Turbo Floyd and Truth Magnum tag team match. And, a decent match, good wrestling there. Again, I wasn't paying that much attention. I think the biggest thing is when the Von Erichs won at the end, one of the other Von Erichs, I guess one of the older guys, came on, so that was a big deal. They all said to bring it together.
Kevin, it was I'm pretty sure it was Kevin Von Erich. I remember when I was watching that match, I was like, wait a minute, is he related to the Von Erich family or anyone of the Von Erich family?
And we weren't too sure. You see Kevin Von Erich come out, and I was like, wow. The only reason I know it had to be Kevin because he's the only one left. So, yeah, I was like, well, that's kind of cool.
There you go. Any quick comments, Johnny?
Surprised to see them back because if I'm not mistaken, wasn't maybe my memory's very far off, but wasn't the last time where they fought was when AEW just barely started? Because I don't think they were much after that. Like I personally, I felt like they're like kind of like the OGs, like when the AEW started to get more popular and people started watching, like they're like the few, like the first wrestlers that's starting to, show up here and there. But other than that,
I mean, unless you mean like the dark, like AEW Dark and all those, but I don't remember them, to be honest.
But it was still a good, interesting match, and it was so good to see them back. To be personally, you look at familiar faces, but it's like you haven't seen them in a while, so then it's like, oh, okay, cool, they're back and they're still fighting in the ring,
All right, so the next match we had here, and I didn't know it was part of it, because they were talking about this whole survival of the fittest finals match for the ring to see who's the, Ring of Honor, Ring of Honor World Television Champion, because Samoa Joe just dropped the title and it had this tournament, and we had a couple of guys, and one of them was like, the mystery guy, like who's the mystery guy? So it turns out that this match was Brian Keith going up against Jack Cartwheel, and whoever won between those two would be the one to be in that survival of the fittest match. And yeah, so Brian Keith has this hunter gimmick, this kind of bounty hunter type gimmick and stuff. And pretty good match, pretty good wrestler and everything. I don't know. I was hoping it would be just a surprise person in the match. I didn't know we were gonna do like a qualifier here. I was hoping it would be like the 4 or 5 guys, and the 6th mystery guy just shows up, and it's some dude, some big character from Ring of Honor or something. But it looks like Brian Keith is gonna be messing around for a while. I do see that after this match, Orange Cassidy challenged him recently for his title. So I'm thinking, I forgot if it's either Collision or Rampage, but they have a match. So we'll be seeing some Brian Keith here and there. So that's pretty cool. Any quick thoughts there, guys?
Well, those cartwheels were cartwheels.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the gimmick was kind of funny, but it just goes to show that in the whole Tony Khan umbrella here, there are just so many people on these rosters that make you wonder, like, they actually still work here? Who is this person? Where did they come from?
Yeah.
And that's how I felt about this particular match, as far as those involved. And I don't like having that feeling. How about you, Johnny?
My memory is pretty foggy. But yeah, I really don't really remember about this match at all.
So the final 0-hour match, we have Daniel Garcia versus Blake Christian. It's a singles match. One of the noticeable things is that Daniel Garcia isn't really doing the dance that much. I mean, he does the pose. He actually is going to do it, but he stops. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I guess it's because that's part of the whole, what do you call it, sports entertainer thing. He's no longer a sports entertainer. So he's not doing that anymore because, we no longer have the JAS, the epitome of sports entertainers. I missed that part, but yeah. So, decent match. And, Daniel Garcia won. And, we'll see what happens with him. He seems to be the only person that did kind of elevate. People talk about, like when the Jericho stuff started, the first one, the Inner Circle, the ones that really elevated, I guess, was just Sammy Guevara because, what do you call it? Santana and Ortiz are just kind of there, and Jake Hager's just kind of there. So Sammy's the one that really got elevated from the Inner Circle. And now with this JAS, I mean, unfortunately, Anna Jay is just there. And, Daddy Magic and Daddy Pool and all them, they're just jobbers, And so the only one that really got elevated was Daniel Garcia. You know, he's the only one that really got up there. So, you know, good for him. But, you know, overall decent match from him and everything. Unfortunately, without him being involved in too many storylines, he does kind of come off a bit of the he still works here, clap, 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 because we haven't seen him in a while, you know. So, any thoughts, guys?
I know what my thoughts are.
Mm.
I miss his dance. I mean, we all know how much miss how Wendy here. You know, you know, I like dancing. You know, I like to see my little Danny Garcia dance from time to time. But yeah, joking aside, it is more like he still works here. I mean, it's like there's nothing going on. See, that just goes what I said before. The roster is so bloated that they don't know what to do with people on their, you know, doing most of them. The match itself was all right, but I don't know. See, I just wish I would have been more invested in most of the matches that they did have, and this includes the stuff for the actual main pay-per-view show as well. That Star Goku.
Yeah.
What about you, Johnny? What did you think of this Daniel Garcia match? What should there have been more dancing? You know,
Should have been more dancing. That's his gimmick. I mean, hell, if you have freaking Orange Cassidy always putting his hands in his pockets and somehow able to win a match that way with his little kicks that barely touches the knee, and somehow that you know makes him a wonderful wrestler, then of course Daniel Garcia should still do trademark sexy, you know. Now, in terms of itself, I actually liked the match because I felt like Daniel Garcia and Blake Christian, they're kind of like good equals. Like these two guys, they have pretty much similar capacities, and I don't know, I just like the way they fought in this match. And you know, even though Daniel Garcia still won the match, Blake Christian was still giving him a challenge, though. You know, Daniel Garcia was not. He was still having some difficulties here and there. Like Blake Christian was still able to, you know, give him a good beating here and there. So I think that this is still a very good match, and I actually think this is more like the type of matches they need to do with Daniel Garcia in general. Like they need to challenge him more and more. Like you know, he needs to show up more. You know, that's
Yeah, be more involved in a storyline or something.
he still works here.
Potential.
Yeah. So anyways, now for the actual show, the first match we had was El Hijo de Vikingo versus Black Taurus for the AAA Mega Championship, which is, of course, you know, the flippy shit requirement of the evening and everything.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. But that was, I mean, it was a good match. I was still kind of settling down. It was a long day of work and everything. I'm usually used to these events being over the weekend while you're not working. This one was like literally an hour or two after work. So I was still kind of, you know, we all like to relax a bit before work. So I was halfway tuned in and everything. I'll tell you in a bit later, there'll be more matches that do get us more like into it. But here, I was just, you know, more flippy shit here and there. I was surprised though that they were challenging for the AAA title. I do wonder how it would be because in this case, Hijo de Vikingo still won. He still won. He retained his title. But my thing is, I've been curious, what if like Black Taurus won it instead? That would be kind of interesting because then when you watch AAA, it's like all of a sudden, whoa, Black Taurus is a champ now. Like I wonder if they would show maybe clips of Ring of Honor to show how he lost the title or whatever. But that'd been interesting. But you know, pretty good match. Lots of good flippy shit and all that good stuff. Any thoughts, amigos?
Yes. Okay. Main thing I remember about this match is, okay, one thing I hate, and this goes for any kind of a match. I know that I know wrestling is scripted, of course, and I know that the guys, they're in the ring, they're doing those moves, they're trying to pull it off as best as they can. But at the same time, they're supposed to be selling it too. That make it so obvious. Unfortunately, with this match, they made it very, very obvious, and it just took me out of it. Okay, all right, Vikingo, he's on the top rope. He's trying to do this little move. He lost his balance, got down. He got back down. But Tarz is still sitting there just looking like, okay, I'm going to sit here and just wait for him to get his balance again. Oh, he's going to try it again. Oh, he messed up again. Let me stand here and wait. I was like, why are you doing that? You're making it look bad. Y'all need to just, I don't know how to say it. I'm not very critical of stuff. I usually laugh. But that was just so terribly obvious, and that's something I've just never liked. And even with someone like like they're in the ring and you just sitting there waiting for the move to be executed. I'm like, oh, y'all have to be more fluid. So that just I just hated that about that match. And there were a few spots in that match where I noticed that. And it was just very, very obvious for that match. And I'm like, wow. Hey, Mikey. Johnny, what did you think of this particular match?
Yeah, I was noticing that too, that there were some mistakes here and there, and like again, like you said, they made it look too obvious. Like you're supposed to try to, I don't know, try to smooth it out a little bit so that it's not so obvious that you're like, but I also feel bad for Kingo for being in that kind of situation to begin with. Considering that he is a very good talented wrestler. This match, I don't really remember too much about it, but what is there to remember much about? Is a whole bunch of flippy shit, Lucha Libre style. All I know is that, the good thing is that
I still got the best friends coaster. I remember that. It's funny because I got this before I even know who the best friends were. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's the thing with the wrestling. I also hate when they do like the dives and everyone is just standing around. Sometimes they do it good. Sometimes they do it in a time that the guy gets up and, turns around just in time to get knocked down. But other times the people take so long to do the dive that everyone is obviously just kind of standing around you're just waiting to get toppled over because at the same time it's to catch the guy. It's like they're catching the guy while falling over at the same time. And sometimes, so that's
I hate that. I really hate stuff like that. Like I said, you're supposed to not make it so obvious.
Yeah.
And like I said, this particular match, it just seems like that was like the major thing. And I feel bad that, that they went through that, like Johnny was saying.
So the next match we had here was Mogul Embassy with Bishop Khan, Toa Leona, and Brian Cage with Prince Nana. Except that there's no swerve, so Prince Nana ain't dancing. Going up against the Mighty Don't Kneel. I think that's what it's called, the TMDK, which is Kosei Fujita, Bad Dude Tito, and Shane Haste. And yeah, 6-man tag team match for the Ring of Honor World 6-man tag team championships, which the Mogul Embassy are currently, trio champs with the Ring of Honor. And yeah, what can I say? It's a good fight, The Bishop and Leona are the big dudes, and Brian got to do the, the whole curl up thing with the guys and stuff, and just an interesting match there. But again, I was still kind of distracted here and there. I don't know if you guys remember any details there that you want to add to it.
Just a bench press, but that's about it for me.
Yeah, I don't remember much about this match.
Well, okay. So now we're going to move on to the big one. This is the first big one for me. There's another match that I was kind of like, whatever, but then it just, it woke me up and like, oh shit, what's going on here? And it's interesting because it's about people that I just don't really care about, but the match was just that intense. So it's Ethan Page versus Tony Nese, and it's supposed to be an I Quit match, which means that the only way you can win is if you beat the other guy so badly that they say I quit. You know what I mean? So no count out submissions or whatever. It's beat the guy up until he actually says I quit. And with Ethan Page, I just don't care about him. and Tony Nese, like, well, he's there or whatever. So I wasn't really that invested. But then when the match actually started, like, yeah, decent match and stuff. But as it kept going, it got more and more intense and more violent. And they were like, weren't they like bashing Paige's head against the stairs, the steel steps or whatever? And they were choking them and everything. They started using steel chairs and crap. And then yeah, they kept doing more shit. And then like Mark Sterling also got in there, started to choke them out and things like that. And I forgot what other things they were doing. I know they were getting real crazy. Weren't they using steel chairs and weapons and stuff on them and everything? Because I remember they were really beating Ethan Page like real bad. And they were having the ref, the whole ask him, do you say, what are you gonna do? You're gonna say I quit? No, I don't. And they really like went all out. And that match woke me up, and I was like, holy crap, I didn't think I was going to care about an Ethan Page match. But yeah, they were really going crazy there. And, all the cheating and stuff. And then to top it off near the end, we got the surprise return of Scorpio Sky, who's been out. I think it was injured, I guess. So he came in there. He didn't really do much, but it was like the whole, like, he's in there. So that was a distraction that they needed so that Ethan Page can get Tony Nese. Now, I think they had... then they use like chains or barbed wire or something like that. I think were they doing that stuff too?
I'm trying so
Because
hard.
I remember in the end. Oh wait, no, I remember now. They had handcuffs. They pulled up handcuffs and they were trying to cuff Ethan Page to the ropes or something. And of course, he'll take advantage, beat him up and stuff because he's offensive or whatever. Yeah, he was handcuffed to the ropes. And they're beating the shit out of him because I remember the referee was still grabbing the key, when they had the time, grabbing the key to like take the handcuff off. But then like the other handcuff was still on. The other thing was still hanging. So he still had on, part of it. So he managed to grab Tony Nese and choke him with the chain, the handcuff chain. And that's what finally got him to finally say, I give up because, he's strangling him and shit. But that was like one hell of a match. Like, holy shit. It was crazy.
It was crazy for the bit that I recall. It was a crazy match. And of course, same with Ethan Page. He still works here. Because the main major thing I remember about anything involved with Ethan Page was the stuff with Matt Hardy. Like months ago. But anyway, the match itself, it was like you said, it was crazy and really got you to wake up, definitely. I mean, after seeing all the botches from the last match, it helped to, get things going. And of course, he's like crazy himself. So, him being a show off. But yeah, it was an alright match from the bit that I remember. I remember laughing a little. And Leslie, how about you, Johnny?
Okay, so personally, because I do watch the Ring of Honor, what they call the Fight Club.
Mm-hmm.
I watch it every week, or almost every week. I try to watch it. I do know that they did invested a lot with the storyline between Tony Nese against Ethan Page, vice versa. But I actually think that storyline-wise, this is what they need to do. This is what AEW / Ring of Honor needs to do with wrestlers in general. Take a note, Tony Khan. Invest in wrestlers, put a good storyline so that then when there's like a pay-per-view or an event of this magnitude where we're all glued to the TV watching this because it creates like some sort of suspense for all this because, him and Tony Nese, they were at it like even way before this pay-per-view thing happened. So obviously when this shit happened, all hell went loose. And I'm actually glad that freaking Tony Nese lost the match. Because, yeah, he's just arrogant and he's just stupid. Like, yeah, it's good that he lost the match. Like just shut up already. All your training thing is useless when you lost the match anyways. And I don't know. I actually I don't really I mean, yeah, I've seen Tony. I mean, I've seen Ethan Page before, but I think now they're trying to really bring him back, and it's like this is what he needs to do with him. Like this is really good. I think this is a very good comeback for him, and the way he was fighting and beating the living shit out of Tony Nese proves that this is what you need to do with your wrestlers. You know, invest in them, make a good storyline, and just go with that flow. You know, and you'll get some good results out of that. But yeah, that match was very violent. Well, I'm not gonna say super violent, but it was so violent enough. They were going back and forth, and then they were doing the whole handcuffs thing. And oh, then they try to handcuff the Tony Nese's lawyer. What's his name? The Mark Sterling guy.
Yeah,
Handcuffed like one hand, but he was still able to cheat anyways.
yeah.
With the,
So
then they still disqualify him later. Like they just kick him out or whatever.
I think when Scorpio Sky came in, you got rid of him or something.
And that's another thing, though. I'm certain, and I think they're gonna actually do more with Scorpio Sky as well because it's just It's just very obvious that he's starting to reappear a little bit more often nowadays. So I think they're gonna try to do something with him as well.
Yeah, they were attacking before, so maybe they'll bring him back. Maybe it'll be Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page again.
So yeah, I like the match. It was very interesting. And I actually like this match just for the fact that maybe because I was a little bit invested with the storyline, it's what really got me interested. I'm like, okay, there's all these other matches, but I really want to see this whole freaking Ethan Page versus Tony Nese. Like, let's see like who actually is going to quit the match.
Mm-hmm.
That's very
Yeah. So the next match we had here, there's probably not much to say. It was a random match. I guess it was just filler for the sake of filler, but it was Nyla Rose going up against Bert Vixen in a singles match. It was only 2 minutes long. It was basically a squash, and Nyla just beat her, and Bert Vixen got no offense, almost no offense at all. Maybe she threw a punch or something, but that's it, and that's it. And in my opinion, I'm kind of like, okay, why is this here? I mean, he's very big, not like the pay-per-view paycheck, I guess. But I mean, in my opinion, the only reason we had a match like this is if Bert Vixen like actually got an upset and actually won. Because I'm hoping I do like her style. I do hope that Bert Vixen, kind of rises up the ranks with the other people because we had Layla Hirsch and Red Velvet. And we had Sky Blue and all them. They're all people that are kind of minor, but then they start going higher and higher. Now they're like becoming bigger. But back in the day, they were also like, the jobbers and stuff like that too. And Kylan King was kind of getting up there too. But of course, now she went to another company and everything. So I'm kind of hoping that just like how we see Bert Vixen kind of being like a jobber now, I hope that she gets a little higher, because right now we've been seeing more Trish Adora, we've been seeing more of the Renegades, you know what I mean? So I was hoping that Bert Vixen would kind of get up there. And for me, like for this match here, I would rather have had her win or something, but just having Nyla Rose just squash her and that's it. It's like, okay, that just happened. Next, there's not really much to say,
Like I said, I blinked, it was over. I remember nothing. Just that it happened and it was over. I think I may have had to leave the room for a moment. I came back and it was over, or something like that. Because, like I said, when this was on, it was like right after work, and I was still doing a few things. But yeah, this was like there was nothing memorable about this at all because it was a
match. 2 minutes and 40 seconds. It says on the Wikipedia, and also it was another one of those like super last minute just announced matches out of nowhere. So I mean, that could have been a 0-hour match right there,
I think I don't know if I said this for this particular pay-per-view or maybe one of the other ones. I think it was more like Tony's obligatory, oh gosh, I got other people here. Put them in the ring. Let them do something. Go. How about you, Johnny?
Yeah, he remembered they had a Nyla Rose action figure.
Hey, how about you, Johnny?
okay. Yeah. Nothing special about this match, just typical Night of Rose match, beating up wrestlers, beating up jobblers, right? Bert Vixen, I do think she does have a very good style, a very good fighting style, but against Night of Rose, there's really not much you can do. So, yeah, it was just a very short match, and it's nothing special, and it's nothing pay-per-view worthy. And I don't even think it's not even 0 hour worthy. I think it's just like a match they just put on a regular Ring of Honor.
Yeah, it was pretty weird. It was just out of nowhere. It was just
Yeah.
random.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
So now
short.
for oh sorry.
Like, oh, but this match.
Yeah. So now for the big one here, one of the bigger ones, we got Survival of the Fittest Finals, and the winner is going to be the Ring of Honor World TV Champ. So we had Commander, we had Brian Keith, of course he's the one that just won the match in the 0 hour. We had Lee Moriarty, Dalton Castle, Lee Johnson, and Kyle Fletcher. And what can I say? I was going for Dalton Castle. I'm pretty sure so was Wendy. But yeah, pretty good match. Pretty good match. We had Dalton Castle in his style. Lee Moriarty and Commander, and I think Lee Johnson. They all three of them bring all the flippy shit here and there. But surprisingly, the big star here was Kyle Fletcher. I think Fletcher was really giving the fight to Dalton Castle there. And I forgot who were the last two. I think the last two was it Fletcher and Commander, the last two?
Oh gosh, I can't remember now.
Because I know Castle was there for a good while, but then he got eliminated and everything, and it was like, well, okay, I guess he's not winning and stuff like that. But yeah, I think so. I think it was Commander and Fletcher near the end, because I remember that Commander was still trying to do a couple of flippy shits here and there and everything, and it was real close. It was like, and I was thinking like, damn, that would be kind of cool if Commander won. But in the end, Kyle Fletcher won, and he's proving himself to kind of rise above and be like a better wrestler, getting more quality like singles type matches on his own, because of course he was part of the Aussie Open. And it's kind of weird though, I don't know if the other guy got injured or something, but like Fletcher just became part of the what do you call it, the Don Callis family. And it's kind of weird how Don Callis just brought him in and not the other guy from Aussie Open, which I forgot his name for the time being. But yeah, so Fletcher is getting up there, and now he actually won the title. That was part of his little promo thing. That, yeah, I'm gonna take it home to the Callis family. So now the Callis family's got some gold because he is the Ring of Honor World TV Champ right now. But yeah, that was a big match. It was a big match. Lots of good areas here and there. I was really hoping Don Castle would win. I do give credit that I'm glad he was in there for a good while and he wasn't like eliminated early on. I think he was more of the veteran compared to everybody else, but I'm glad he put up a good fight. But in the end, Kyle Fletcher won it. So what do you guys think?
Well, I was very invested until Dalton Castle got eliminated. Because I was rooting for Dalton. But I guess it was all right. Yeah, I mean, come on now. How can you not like Dalton Castle? His gimmick is like so silly, and it works, but he's also actually a good worker and good in the ring. You got to give credit where it's due, and it's probably because he does have so many years of experience. But yeah, I thought the match was okay. It was, a little entertaining, but I was a little disappointed when, Dalton got eliminated. And at least the cameras kept up. What about you, Johnny?
Yeah, I don't remember too much about the match. But yeah, I think the camera work was a lot better compared to the previous pay-per-views where they have matches of this type. But the only thing I remember was Dalton Castle was still giving a good fight before he lost the match. Not too much I remember, to be honest. The only thing I know is that Kyle Fletcher, like personally, he's becoming quite a powerhouse. So every time he's in the ring, he's getting better and better. And I don't know, I kind of feel like his heel-ish persona is starting to work in his favor. Like it kind of goes with his style a little bit. I don't know. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, it's working out. I just wonder what's gonna happen with the other guy, or they're gonna have like a match. I just don't know if he's injured or not, or why, like what happened to him or anything.
Personally, I would actually wish that Kyle Fletcher would just be solo, like him by himself.
Yeah.
That would have been better. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool that he won the match. I mean, yeah, I know Dalton Castle should have won this match. Heck, even Commander could have won this match. I don't know.
Yeah, they know that Don Castle, he was champion before, in the original Ring of Honor. But I also want him to be champ now, in the current Ring of Honor. Not just, I understand a lot of times, like the whole thing with the veterans, and the veterans gotta, give the guys the rub and all that junk. But I still want that in modern day, have Don Castle win the title at least once, or a title or so. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot. Yeah, wasn't he trios champs with the boys for a while? I think so, right?
I believe so.
Okay, so I guess never mind. But I don't know. I still want him to be a regular champ too, and not just a tag team champ. But I guess he already got the gold. But I don't know. I still want him to get one more title run before he, gets too old or retires or whatever.
Well, Dalton Castle, in a way, it's like Roddy Piper to me. He doesn't truly need a title run, because he's already kind of over, so maybe that's why they haven't done one for him.
Well, but yeah, I forgot he was trios tag team with the boys for a while. So anyways, the next match we have here is Wheeler Yuta, who is once again the Pure Wrestling Rules Pure Wrestling Champion, the Ring of Honor Pure Wrestling Champion, going up against Tom Taylor. And I think you guys know the rules by now for a pure wrestling match, where they can only do one close-fisted punch. There's only 3 rope breaks, and after that, no more, and things like that. But yeah, I don't remember the match too much. I do remember that Wheeler Yuta did sneak in 1 or 2, close-fisted punches while the ref was not looking. So by the time he finally got caught doing the one, it's like, yeah, it's the one, but it's actually like the 3rd or so, and stuff like that. I think there was only 1 rope break with this match with Tom Taylor and everything, but yeah, in the end, Wheeler Yuta won and he retains. It looks like I don't know. It looks like he works out as a pure tag team champ. I mean, you know what I mean? Ring of Honor pure champion, because he keeps getting the title back. He doesn't lose it for too long. So I guess he's in a good spot for that. But Wendy, you didn't say anything. What are your thoughts, Wendy?
Oh, what was the match again?
Wheeler Yuta versus Tom Taylor for the pure.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So those were my thoughts. I have none.
Okay.
Wait, I was wondering if you're going to catch that. You say, I didn't give my thoughts. None. I'm sorry. There's nothing about Wheeler Yuta that is interesting to me at this point. But for the match itself, it's just... See, I wasn't that invested, and that was the issue here. So those are my thoughts on this match. There was a match? Wheeler was in it? He tries too hard. So there you go. And that's where I was going with that. I'm sorry, and my terrible attempt at humor. Hey, Johnny, what did you think of the weirdly useless match? Yuta match.
The weirder Yuta match, okay, personally, this is just like very repetitive. Like how many more times are we gonna have these pure wrestling rules match with weirder Yuta? Like it's always the same thing. And after a while, it just gets boring and the match gets too long. And it's like, oh, can this match just be over with? Now, on a personal note, I'm not saying that Weirder Yuta doesn't have like his talents or whatnot, but I'm just saying that the gimmick of this match, especially this style of match, is just very boring and very repetitive at this point. So I really hope that they can kind of get past these type of matches.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I mean, that's how those matches work. It's just, I guess we've just seen Wheeler, Utah in it so much. It's just more refreshing, I guess, if it's someone else or something. Because those earlier matches, when it was like Daniel Garcia versus Wheeler, Utah, those were pretty intense.
Dave probably
Remember
got some
those,
dancing
especially
in.
with the personal hatred and stuff. Well, that's the thing. That was kind of dumb. Like the first or second one were more intense and more serious, and he had that intense rivalry. But then like the third one, because of course Daniel was doing that, it got, all stupid where he was doing it all the time, and where he even passed out while dancing. It got very, it got very carried away and everything. It's kind of like how Nana dances more now because that's his thing, so he's dancing more now, but he wasn't doing it so much before, that kind of thing. But yeah, maybe we just need someone else besides Wheeler to be or maybe another something else. Because like I said, Wheeler with Garcia, they had that personal thing. So maybe if you have someone else that has personal beef with Wheeler, Utah, maybe that would make the match a bit more interesting than these other people. So anyways, the next match we had here was kind of interesting. It was Keith Lee versus Shane Taylor. And it was an interesting match because it was these two big guys. And it was so weird because the match was very slow paced between the two of them because they're both big guys. It's not like, like let's say Keith Lee going up against someone like Swerve that swerves faster and stuff. So these guys, they were measuring themselves up a bit. They were doing basic moves. The crowd was just going nuts because once they start doing stuff, the crowd was eating it up because they were like, picking each other up. And these are big dudes, and I think we got to see both. I think we got to see Shane Taylor pick up Keith Lee, and we got to see Keith Lee pick up Shane Taylor and stuff like that. So the crowd was like excited when they were doing shit, but then when it was real slow pace, they were all like, "Oh, this is so boring. Oh, this is so boring." And then they would like wake up again when they started doing more stuff. But yeah, so it was a weird kind of slow paced match. But didn't one of them pick the other one up like on the ropes and jumped off the which was super
Yeah.
crazy because these two big ass motherfuckers, like God damn. But yeah, so in the end, Keith Lee won and got him and stuff. And I guess it was some kind of, I don't know, it was like a beef they had, but it was kind of like respect and stuff. So in the end, he still shook hands and they walked off together. I guess it was just like, the old thing where sometimes you just gotta hash it out and stuff. But, they got their respect back and they're cool and everything. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, that's the thing that reminded me the most. The crowd went from going crazy to chanting boring, crazy, boring. It was like that. But it was overall a slow-paced match because it was two big, heavy-set guys. You know what I mean?
You got slapping meat. Woohoo!
Oh God, they were chanting that stuff too. I think they were like, that was a time when they were exchanging hits and stuff. So the crowd was chanting me, me, me every time they hit each other and everything.
Yeah.
Well, somewhere Vince was happy.
Uh-huh. His new mustache was curling.
That's some good shit.
All right, yeah, I was pretty I hadn't thought much about the match until we actually they actually, announced and said, "Oh wow, okay, Keith Lee. I've always liked Keith Lee." You got Shane Taylor there. So yeah, it was a bit slow paced. It's sort of like how back in the day I always wanted to see Mark Henry go up against the Big Show, and then I finally got to see it and I said, yeah, this isn't as interesting as I thought it would be. But the difference here with Keith Lee and Shane Taylor, they actually move more than Mark Henry and Big Show ever did in the ring. So it was more, they have more athleticism to them. So I was pretty impressed by, the moves that they can do in general for being big guys. So it did partially hold my interest. So I give that's a good thing. How about you, Johnny? What did you think of this match?
Honestly, I don't really remember too much about this match. I wasn't really that invested in it. But they're just like, I don't know, two big guys or whatever. They were so able to pick each other up or whatever. But other than that, I don't really have much memories of this match.
Mm. So then we got this big crazy match, which was them top guys, which is FTR, Cash Wheeler, and Dax Harwood with Mark Briscoe going up against the Blackpool Combat Club, Daniel Bryanson, still got the eye patch though, John Moxley, and Claudio Castagnoli. And for many people, like they were saying, some of the big, one of the big deals was that this is the first Daniel Bryanson match in Ring of Honor, like since, the old days, because of course he wrestled way back in the classic Ring of Honor. But also this was John Moxley's first official match in Ring of Honor, because he's always been maybe like a guest commentator or just kind of coming along with either Claudio or Wheeler, but it's the first time that he's actually in the ring. So yeah, it was a crazy fight. They're just beating each other up, and Moxley trying to bite everyone, making sure everyone has their healthy dose of hepatitis or whatever. But then near the match, they changed it to a fight without honor match. So now everything goes. Yeah, I think there was a part where they got disqualified or some bullshit, maybe because they were counted out or something. But the whole match was kind of a memorial match for Mark Briscoe. Jay's like, no, we're starting this again. But now it became a fight without honor. So when it became a fight without honor, all shit broke loose. We got the thumbtacks. We got the table covered in thumbtacks. And we've got, oh God, Moxley with his fucking fork. Like, I hate that. And then, stab. Like, oh God, you know what I mean? That's always hard to watch, And yeah, there was barbed wire here, barbed wire there. I remember, I think one of the FTR guys did the whole wrap the barbed wire around and sock someone out. In the end, they picked up one of the I forgot who was one that took it, probably Moxley, because he likes that stuff. But yeah, the three of them got to pick up Moxley. The three of them, I mean, are Wheeler, Harwood, and Briscoe. Got to pick up Moxley and slammed them down onto all the thumbtacks and shit and pinned them in one. And I remember it being so nasty because Cash in particular had a shitload of like thumbtacks all over his back and stuff, and he could barely move. And they were doing, the celebration, raise your hand up in victory and all that crap. But I'm just thinking like, oh man, because I think some of them, whatever, but he took the most of them though. He took the most of them across his back and everything. So that was insane. But yeah, it was a crazy match. I'm still waiting for, because that's the only thing left. They got barbed wire. They have thumbtacks. Other matches have had like broken glass and stuff. And I forgot any other things, but the only thing missing are the fucking strobe lights that I've seen in the indies. That's the only thing missing. I'm wondering when they're ever going to bring the strobe lights, or if that's just like too much. I don't know. But what are your thoughts, guys?
Wow. I want Johnny to go first for that. I want Johnny to go. I want to know more so Johnny's thoughts.
Oh, well, I really didn't, I don't know, watch the match because I was watching it on repeat and I was cutting kind of short on time. Because, it was the day that I had to go to to the Korean barbecue place. So I really wanted to see the, main event, so unfortunately, I didn't really get to see this match, but it seemed to be pretty damn long.
Yeah, it was a bit. It did take me out just a bit.
Yeah, it was almost like a half hour long, I think.
It's like way,
Yeah.
Like I was trying to finish watching the whole pay-per-view in one seating, so I did not want to watch it later, I guess. So yeah, I just noticed that that match is super duper long. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
It was too long. Bottom line.
And that's the thing that caught me off interest too. That it's like, damn, a match. I don't know, I don't know if this match needs to be that long, to be honest. But yeah.
Any thoughts, Wendy?
like you said, it was just too long. I mean,
No thoughts on your favorite guy Moxley and all the stuff.
like I said, I was rooting for the wall, but he didn't throw himself into one. So, oh, wait a minute, that's my move now. I don't know. I just couldn't get really invested into this match. I mean, I don't know. I just really couldn't get into it at all.
No
I
God.
tried.
I mean, I was invested because it was one of the bigger ones. I think between this one, the survival of the fittest, and the Ethan Page match, and of course the main event. But yeah, this one,
And I think this is a problem with me, not necessarily with them. I mean, my Moxley joking aside, this is a me issue. The fact that I wasn't that invested as far as whatever stories were going on because I didn't see the build up to them. This also kind of affected how I went into the Ring of Honor this pay-per-view. And this is another situation where I wasn't that fully invested in the story because you know what, you might miss weeks and then watch everything every week. Like Johnny, he's more versed in some of the storylines, so he could like he get invested in some of these matches a bit more. To me, they're it was just there. So I think if I would have been more invested in his story, if I had been more aware of whatever the story was, I could have had a bit more, felt more towards the matches as opposed to just being indifferent to most of them.
yeah. So the next match we had here was another random kind of match too. Eddie Kingston is the current Ring of Honor World Champion, and it was a segment, one of the earlier episodes, that he was kind of pissed off. Either a segment, no, I think it was actually during the 0 hour somewhere where he got pissed off. He's a champion, but like, yo, well, I'll have a match. Like, well, what the fuck, And apparently, because he was still part of that big tournament that's still going on, I don't know if it's still going on or it ended by now. There was a tournament in the Ring of Honor, in AEW, that had like, the Gold League and the Blue League and whatever else. So he had a match the next day, and Tony Khan was saying that, hey, you have a match tomorrow, but Eddie Kingston don't care. He wants to fight. So Anthony Henry came up and wanted to challenge him. So yeah, let's go. And it's a proving grounds match. And the way these matches work is that if the guy either pins Kingston or at least last 10 minutes against Kingston, he has a chance to challenge for the title later on. But yeah, he didn't last. I don't think it was an all-out squash. I mean, I think Anthony did still put in some defense there, but nah, Eddie Kingston just socked the guy out and won the match. I think he hit him with the back elbow and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just, a match. And of course, for fans of Eddie Kingston, I forgot about it because by the time I was like, okay, here's the main event, and then I could hear Eddie's music playing. Oh, right, he had a match tonight, didn't he? And that kind of thing,
I actually didn't mind this one too much. Eddie Kingston has definitely, he's pretty cool in the ring now. He's cooler in the ring now, and the match was pretty okay. But I will say this, going back to the segment where Tony Khan was making an announcement about whatever, I forgot what his announcements was because this is Tony Khan and he could be like making an announcement that he had chicken salad over tuna salad for lunch. He'll do an announcement about that. But the fact that Eddie, popped up and he was all pissed off because he said, yo, I'm in Ring of Honor. I'm holding a title. Why am I not in this show? And then, all of a sudden they're like, yeah, we're going to have a show tonight. I'm going to have a match tonight against, whoever. And I was like, Tony, why are you making them make you look weaker than what you already are?
Oh, I get it. Yeah, Eddie was there. Anthony showed up for a challenge. They're all, yeah. They don't even ask his permission. Tony Khan's right there. They don't even ask his permission. They're just like, yeah. And they just go ahead, and Tony's like, yeah, I guys are gonna have a match. Yeah, it should be good. like no backbone, no orders, no
Yeah, and I hate to go back to the other promotion, but we know how this would have turned out there. Even though it was a segment, and of course this was obviously planned, it would have been funny because once they would have been like, you decided to do a match. This is my show. I make those decisions. You know? But the match itself, like I said, it wasn't that bad. It was okay. I didn't mind it so much because, like I said, I do like seeing Eddie Kingston in the ring and, him try to, work. And he seems like he's really, got so improved so much, over time and such. So, yeah. Johnny, what do you think?
I think the same. It's a decent match, just Eddie Kingston's a very good wrestler, and it's always good to see him how he, I don't know, gets better and better throughout each match, and how he doesn't give up, and he doesn't care who the challenger is. He's still gonna have a match with that person. Because some wrestlers are very picky with what challengers they want to have, but with Eddie Kingston, I mean, yeah, he does want really, really good challengers. But the same token, he's like, hey, if you want to fight with me, okay, that's fine. Like, let's get down to it. And that's kind of like what I like about it. And pretty much that's the gimmick of this fight. It was a very short match. It didn't even last 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that's all. Because if it did last 10 minutes, then you would have had a title shot.
But Eddie Kingston, is a good wrestler. But yeah, like, Tony Khan, he's just like there all the time. And I just hate the way he announced fights. Like a lot of times he's just like screaming. Like, we're gonna have the whatever match. It's like, shut up.
So the funniest thing that got me with Tony Khan was how much of a wussy he is and everything. That was that one segment. I remember when MJF and Adam Cole were being buddies and doing all kinds of weird, stupid shit on the road and other areas. There was one time they did, I don't know what, and they were,
I remember
Khan's office, and apparently Tony Khan chewed him out. I'm like, Tony Khan doesn't look like he can chew out RoH, Like, I think if Rio took like a step forward, Tony Khan would still be, you know what I mean? Like,
oh no, he was fear for his life. Oh no,
for his life, So it's like yeah. Now if it was a Vince thing, yeah, I would see that as more convincing. But like MJF and Cole being chewed out by Tony Khan, yeah, I don't think so.
It didn't even sound like him. It didn't even sound like him. So they had to dub in a voice from behind the door and make it seem like it was like Wizard of Oz style. I was like,
Okay.
I remember that. It was funny though. Oh, I remember. It was because they had that segment where they beat up kids at a gym or something. And the dodgeball thing, I think it was. Oh, that's just so silly.
Yeah. So the other thing we had now, the main event, which I did mention earlier, that we did lead off with that, was Athena versus Billy Starks for the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. And also, I think it was one of the rare times, because that doesn't happen too often, that we have a women's championship match as the main event. So that's also kind of cool. And yeah, like we said, it was that slow burn. Athena was beating up everyone. She challenged Billy Starks. For whatever reason, she took her under her wing. She became her minion, treat her like crap. And then Billy was starting to turn more and more like Athena-ish with her antics and everything. And then the big kicker was the last 2 or so episodes of the Ring of Honor, where Athena was doing like this minion training graduation, whatever. And she did like the whole speech. And he do that in wrestling all the time, where they always talk about someone, whatever. And the person's all like, oh man, you don't have to do that. But then when they mention the person is either someone they hate or just themselves or some bullshit like that. So they did that. So they had Lexi there, and Athena talked a whole bunch of whatever. And in the end, it was Lexi. Lexi's the one that, graduates or whatever. So Billy, of course, gets pissed and stuff. And Athena's like, you're not ready, blah, 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 blah. And that's when Billy finally snaps and grabs her and slams her against the barricade and all that kind of shit. So, so now we got the big match here. And I have to admit, though, it was a little slow paced in the beginning. but it did kind of pick up a bit. We got more of the people being thrown into the barricade and the steps and stuff like that. Athena was basically just beating the crap out of Billy a lot and kind of like this for her own good kind of thing. Billy still got some good moves in her. Billy did hit her with the sucker punch that Athena also does. Um, yeah, it's pretty interesting. Near the end, I was kind of worried with Athena trying to do the old face thing because I know that's something no one kicks out of. So I was like, oh fuck, if she nails her with that, you know. But I forgot. I think Billy either dodged it or caught her or something to stop it. But in the end, Athena still got her in some kind of submission hold, and she still won the match. And it was interesting though because I was kind of curious about Billy Starks if she, what if she won? What if she became champ or whatever? But no, the weird thing is that Athena won the match and she still grabbed Billy and I guess they kiss and made up and everything and they're together now and Lexi's there too and they all just walked off. So I'm kind of curious what happens there because like, you know what I mean? Doesn't really progress the storyline. They're kind of back where they started, sort of, because I know Athena's gonna treat her better, but we know she's not going to because that's part of her gimmick too, you know? So yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just gonna be like this until whenever Athena finally loses the title or something, but what are your thoughts? Um
I was okay. You said it did start off a little slow pace, but it did pick up, and I thought it was pretty cool. There were just so many close calls. Like, and what I liked about this match is like you really couldn't tell who was going to win, and I kind of prefer that in matches. Not it wasn't completely predictable. But my issue that I did have, and I think you remember when I was talking about it after we finished watching it together, like the actual finish. Like you said, where are they going to go story-wise with this? Like Billy was saying, what do you want from me, Athena? For you to be my minion. And she went back along with it. And I'm thinking, is she gonna? I mean, it wouldn't make sense for her to turn on her again, unless she's plotting a revenge on both her and Lexi or something. And poor Lexi shouldn't even be in the equation. But so it's like that's just the biggest confusion thing for me. Who wrote the story? I mean, who's behind creative with this storytelling? Where could they have gone? How would you have? I would love to know from you two. How would you have booked this? I mean, for Athena, I mean, personally, I really couldn't see Athena losing because she is a very strong champion. And I guess Billy Starks is still a little, I guess you could say, wet behind the ears, because she is 18, you know? So it just makes me wonder, where can they possibly go from here? Is Billy Starks going to kind of try to stay under Athena's wing and kind of team up with some of the other female roster members to go after Athena? I mean, it's just, what are they thinking? I just don't know where they can possibly go. It's like they did he's not a 180, they did a 360. How about you, Johnny?
let me see what Johnny says, and I'll try to see what I would do if I was booking this.
The actual match was very, very good. We already know what Athena is capable of, but especially more recent episodes, Billy Starks has really gotten very, very heelish. So it's very cool to see her grow to be more aggressive and have this whole hatred of Athena. I really want to beat the shit out of Athena, and it was a very violent match. And don't forget, guys, that she injured Athena's nose.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's messed up.
Oh, there's another too. Athena not only had the Athena protect her nose, but she was also dressed up like Bane in the beginning.
Oh,
Yeah, so I have a very mixed feelings when it comes to the outcome, like how it ended, because honestly, with Billy Starks, the way she beat up Athena, with all I don't know, animosity that they had during that moment and her hating Athena and all that shit. It just seems very reductive that after all that is said and done, it's like she forgives Athena. It's like, okay, let's go back together. Like they just went back to how it was. Like I guess she's her minion again. And it's just I mean, I don't know, man. Honestly, I think if Jack Knives was here in the podcast, he probably would have rants about this one because it just seemed kind of stupid that they did this whole freaking storyline. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, like whatever, like nothing happened. It's like
Yeah.
it's like what? They had all this feud and all this like I don't know, guys. Like honestly, I would have preferred, and I think most people would have preferred if the storyline kept going like how it is now. That you know before this ending, you know that Billy Starks is so heelish, lost the match, and that makes her even more pissed at Athena because she didn't win the match. I think that would have been a better outcome.
Mm.
More suspense to the match. And to make it even more, you know, exciting is that when Athena wins the match, well, you know, Billy Starks, since she's in her heel mode, she's still gonna beat up Athena, and I don't know, even like injure her nose more. Like I don't know, they could have went this in another direction.
Yeah. Now, my opinion, I mean, the thing is, like, it would be a shame to lose Billy Starks, you know, because she got involved in the storyline and everything. And it kind of helps because this does keep her on the TV week after week on Ring of Honor. The thing is, it's kind of hard to say because Athena, like, I don't even know who can beat her at this point because she's already fought versus many people. And probably some of the better ones were like Mercedes Martinez, but she already whooped her ass a couple of times. So, you know, and maybe Willow, but Willow's also come up short a couple of times. So I don't really know who else there is left in the Ring of Honor people that could defeat Athena. Maybe Nyla Rose, who knows? But so I don't know. And it's just kind of like, I don't know. The thing is, the way we've done it though is that either Athena wins and Billy's no longer a minion and, you know, she quits or whatever, she leaves and does her own thing and comes back later. Maybe she could come back with a new heel persona or something, maybe do a rematch with Athena, but now with her heel persona. Or he should have had Billy won and be champ at least for a while because the crowd was really going for it. They would have lost their minds if she won. And she did have other matches where she did defeat Mercedes Martinez and other people that shows that Billy Starks can kind of go up against these people. So I'm thinking that with some of the lower people, like she could have, you know, defend her title against the Renegades, against what's her name, what was that other person? It was not someone else with the Madison Rain. She could probably defeat Madison Rain, and she could defeat some of these other lower on the card people like Kiara Hogan and Bert Vixen and stuff like that. You know, have a couple of title defenses here and there until she gets someone that can topple her, or maybe Athena comes back for revenge, or I don't know. But I would have done anything except resetting things back the way they were. You know what I mean? Or the only thing I would have done is that if they're doing the thing, I would have had Billy like acting more heelish like as the weeks go on or something. Like maybe during the weeks when Athena wins and stuff, we'll see moments where maybe Billy's giving her the eye and stuff, or she's just kind of like how Sky Blue and them, like she's maybe coming out with darker colors now and turning more and more evil and stuff, and maybe down the line there'll be another rematch, but now this time she will beat her, but something different, you know. That's what I'm saying. I would have booked anything except just resetting back to how it was, because I know they were having fun with the Athena and then the Lexi interviews and the segments and all that shit, but this match was supposed to be kind of like the ending of all that. And now we're just going right back to it. So I don't know. That's what I would have probably done. I would have probably had Billy Starks either go away because she's pissed or stay with her, but like stay with her, you know, still looking and acting kind of backstabbery or something. I don't know. So on that note, guys, the announcement, I was looking up to see what was the announcement for Tony Khan. The announcement is there's a brand new title. They're going to announce the Ring of Honor Women's TV title. So that's kind of cool because now Ring of Honor has 2 women's titles and everything. And it also gives someone else a chance because that was Athena can still be champ, but now some other woman can rise up and be the champ. And one thing I would love for him to do, because there's a lot of men tournaments. I would love a women's tournament, or I would love a women's 5 or 6 woman match or whatever to find out who's the champ. Just like how we had this match now to see who's the TV champ. Have a good one with the women. See who's the women's champ. You can have Willow, Mercedes. I guess Nyla. I guess Nyla's part of the roster now. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm kind of a loss of I guess the Renegades, but that's kind of cheating. But yeah, you could have that factor that their sisters helping each other out, so you kind of have that advantage there and stuff like that. Throwing Taya Valkyrie and Madison Rain or things like that. That'd be kind of interesting. But yeah, it would flesh out more of the women roster and Ring of Honor, because right now it is kind of, I mean, most of the roster right now is just Athena, Billy Starks, the Renegades, Layla Hirsch, and Madison Rain, I think. And everyone else is like the jobbers, right? But what are your thoughts on that when the Ring of Honor Women's TV title now?
Well, surprised there is one now. There are just so many titles. How can anyone keep up with all the promotions here? So it was, I don't know what to truly think. I just wish I was paying more attention to some of this stuff. But that announcement,
yeah, right now it was just the announcement. It wasn't like he didn't announce, like a tournament or whatever. Like he didn't announce the method of which they're going to determine who's going to be the first ever Ring of Honor Women's TV champ. We'll find out later. I don't know if done that earlier, man, because that would have been a good match for this pay-per-view, like a women's thing, But yeah, we'll see how that goes. We'll see how they decide that. I think we're still a couple. I'm not sure when the next pay-per-view for Ring of Honor is. I forget if the first one. I forget if it's Super Card of Honor or something else.
Oh, I want to add though, since we're talking about women's match, what do you guys think of I guess Thunder Rosa coming back to AEW? Like, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, apparently she's back like in Collision, and she's also like teaming up with Abaddon, which is kind of cool because it's about time that Abaddon got more TV time, and not just Halloween or whatever. And it's kind of cool because it keeps bringing her back, and now they have some kind of feud, I think, between Sky Blue and Julia Hart versus Thunder Rosa and Abaddon. So that's kind of interesting. Any thoughts on that, Wendy? Did you get to watch it in a while, don't you? I think I'm the one that gets Collision.
See, I don't really watch Collision that much. I mean, I've only seen a couple times, but I found it interesting that they're just adding new titles left and right. I mean, I just can't keep up.
To be fair, the women do deserve more titles and stuff, and that might, at least in this case, it might help them, straighten their division.
Here's hoping, because obviously Tony doesn't understand any of that stuff. Like when he was asked the media scrum, like was for All Out or either All In, and he was questioned about it, and he pretty much dodged the question by not really answering the question. So I do hope that something can come out of this. Johnny?
Oh yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. Hopefully they'll have some good matches with this. But they just need to promote more like the women's matches in general, I guess.
Yeah. And then the other thing we want to say real quick is that unfortunately Kenny Omega is out indefinitely. So we'll see how that goes. I do know that they recently did sign Will Ospreay, so hopefully they'll use him more often. Maybe he could take their spot. Maybe between Will Ospreay, and also, you know, the whole Edge coming in, Adam Copeland coming in and stuff like that. We'll see how that goes. We still got the mystery of who the devil is for MJF and stuff, which I'm really hoping that they finally reveal it. We do have the what do you call? We do have the World's End, which I think is like next week or so. So we'll see how that goes. I'm assuming that that'll be the way to end the year for AEW, to finally reveal who is the devil and all that that's going after MJF and stuff like that. I do have to say it kind of sucks because MJF and what's his face, Adam Cole, which of course we know why he's injured, whatever. They're the Ring of Honor. Well, first of all, they're the Ring of Honor tag team champs, and they have never ever defended the titles on any episode of the Ring of Honor show or any pay-per-view. If anything, they defend the titles, but on the AEW ones, you know. So they've never been in Ring of Honor, and it kind of sucks because even during the intro Ring of Honor, because I mean they're the tag team champs, right? You still see a bit of MJF and Adam Cole there because you know how it is. You always got to show who the champs are during that time. But it sucks because they're not. They're never on the Ring of Honor show. They're never in the Ring of Honor pay-per-views. It kind of sucked. I think what kind of fucked it up was probably because Adam Cole, you know, got injured and stuff. But I think it kind of hurts them because for better or for worse, people like MJF. And if MJF was defending the tag team titles with Adam Cole on Ring of Honor, that would have brought more eyes to it. And more people are watching. They'll tune into the Honor Club here and there and stuff like that. I know a lot of people complain that Athena is not on AEW, she's in Ring of Honor, but the thing is, you need some kind of exclusive something or other to give you a reason to watch Ring of Honor. You know what I mean? Like if they have Athena on regular AEW, then that really does kill the reason to watch Ring of Honor. So I'm thinking between Athena being there and having MJF and Cole, if Cole's not injured, of course, defend the title on Ring of Honor, that would have given more eyes on that product. But you know, what you're going to do, we can't control the fact that Cole got injured. But the thing is, even before the injury, it just didn't look like MJF was in that much of a rush to appear in Ring of Honor. You know what I mean? Honestly, we should do because I know it's a limited time because Samoa Joe is just being with MJF, just kind of watch over him so he doesn't lose the title so that, you know, because I think the main event for World's End is Samoa Joe versus MJF. So Samoa Joe is basically just kind of making sure that MJF has the title long enough for their pay-per-view, you know. But if it wasn't for that, like, fuck it, man. Just make them tag team champs. Just make MJF and Samoa Joe. I mean, Samoa Joe's already a Ring of Honor guy anyway, right? Have them be on the show and defend the titles. Because, I mean, Cole is just injured for too long, man. He's, you know, he's not kayfabe, man. He's real world injured, and there's not much they can do about it, you know? Like, but, yeah, I think that's all that's going on in the world nowadays. I don't really follow much with WWE to know so much what's going on with them. We know Jade's there, but Jade's going to be training a bit before she gets on there. So it'll be a while before we actually see her on TV and everything. So she'll be like more, you know, I guess a better wrestler. The other thing is that apparently there's rumors now that Mercedes Mone is not going to be with AEW after all. She might still sign deals to go with WWE. And in my opinion, I mean, we'll see how it goes. Because again, Vince is gone. Triple H is in charge. We'll see how Triple H treats her and stuff. But I don't know. Because, you know, she left because WWE didn't treat her right and stuff. And she's going to come right back. We'll see how she gets treated. We'll see if they'll job her out to Becky and Charlotte and whoever else is the top person nowadays. Ronda Rousey, I don't think is with WWE anymore, but she's also not with Ring of Honor. I think it was just like a one-time deal that she a cameo guest star with Marina Shafir, so she's not really signed or anything. So that's another.
Yeah, because they're like good friends. So, you know, they're just working together for that. And either going back to the Mercedes Mone thing with her, Sasha Banks stuff. Yeah, I think that she probably was considering, but after a certain situation occurred, you know, she don't want to be fired for causing someone to fear for their lives, you know. So, you know, she don't want to get into that conflict.
Yeah. Kind of sucked though, because I really wanted to see, like, you know, Mercedes Mone going up against like the people, going up against like Hikaru Shida and let me see who else.
I
Oh,
was thinking they could have did a storyline.
they're
They could have done a.
ex-WWE people anyways. But I guess I would just say that against Hikaru Shida, against Britt Baker, whenever Britt Baker comes back. And
Well, I was thinking could have did like a storyline where her going with Soraya going up against
have
her.
that storyline too and everything. Because like I said, I really want that line. I really want her to have a promo saying the last time we wrestled, I almost put you away. This time I'll finish the job. Some kind of reference to the fact that it was her and stuff like that.
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
right.
especially
Yeah.
since AEW don't have any problem with any of the wrestlers there making references to stuff like that. Enzo Amore. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember you did mention Enzo More, didn't they? But yeah, the thing with and I don't know. The thing that also gets me is the names and stuff too. It's just I like the gimmick and the slightly new character of Mercedes Monet. I would feel that would be a shame and for it to be like all boring that she just goes back to WWE and she just goes right back to Sasha Banks. Like it would have been cool if she would be allowed to come back as Mercedes Monet and introduce that new part of her character. That's the only thing that would kind of get me. I was looking forward to her debuting her character on AEW like that. It would just kind of bore me if she comes back to AEW and she's still doing, back to WWE and she's back to doing the exact same gimmick, like nothing changed, like she never left. I would love to see that thing too. Have the announcer say, "Gee, I hope Sasha Banks can shake off the ring rust," as if she hasn't been wrestling for years. And so just like how I did with Cody, that's kind of funny.
Mm.
But that is the only downside for me. If they would bring her back, I want her back as Mercedes Monet, but they're gonna probably bring her back as Sasha Banks, like if nothing happened or whatever. That's fine, I guess. So, anyways, guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up for this one. Like I said, it's kind of a shorter one. We don't have some of our bigger talkers on the show, and it was also pay-per-view that didn't really have too many. I mean, the matches were good once we actually sat down and watched them, but on paper, they didn't really sound like that impressive. And in a certain way, it did. It is kind of cool that you could watch it just by being subscribed to the Honor Club because just watching the matches, even when you never having a discussion, kind of like, I don't know. Do you really want to spend money on this one? Or, because considering the fact we also got to watch World's End, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I don't know, guys, So I guess I'm glad that it was free. And, and also cool for me too, because my job schedule kind of changed for that week. So I got to watch it. Normally I would have been missing it. I would have just watched it till Saturday or something. But this time I got lucky that my schedule was a little earlier. So I was able to just, get dinner ready, sit down. Okay, let's watch some Ring of Honor and stuff like that. But like I said, most of the matches kind of like they were just, I don't know, it's just TV background noise until the Ethan Page match started. Then I was like, oh shit. And I was up, paying more attention to it and everything. So, yeah, decent pay-per-view. Just, I don't know. I guess I would have more attention if it was on the weekend and I had the whole day, set aside like we usually do. But yeah. So anyways, any closing thoughts, guys?
Let's see. I've got nothing. All I know is that Tony Khan is just a wuss. That's about it. He's more of one than I realized. I have more balls in him and I don't have any. That's about it.
Or Riho can sneeze. Riho and Yuka Sakazaki can do like a little slap fight or something, and Tony Khan is in a corner because he fears for his life.
I think even Biddy Stark was ordering Tony Khan. So yeah, that's all I got to say about it.
So anyways, guys, that's the end of this episode here. We're going to have World's End next week, I believe. So we're going to do our predictions and stuff like that. That'll probably be the last episode of the podcast of the year because I'm sure that, it'll be 2024 when we do the review, So we have one more episode to watch. So this is Mark Rodriguez here signing off for America's #1 cause of insomnia, the Diamond Cutter Wrestling Podcast.
This is Wendy, also known as Ninja Jupi or Jupi-chan. Sorry we didn't have our other buddies here to give their opinions on all this craziness, but I will just turn this over to you know who, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that has the high chew, Johnny Rodriguez.
Rodriguez, yeah, this was a entertaining pay-per-view. I wouldn't say like the most spectacular pay-per-view, but it's still entertaining. The matches were still, it was still quite a kind of a long pay-per-view. I don't think it was really that short. And yeah, I think some of the storyline, some of the matches they did have some good storytelling. So I don't know. I think it worked for them. Having the story being built up. If you watch the Ring of Honor Fight Club, and for them to have this to have the final results here at the pay-per-view, I think it was still a good idea. But yeah, that's pretty cool, guys. This is Johnny Rodriguez, and see you next time.